Have you ever seen a classic Hollywood icon and wondered exactly how their look changed? These stark before and after photos can be jarring, but they reveal stories many of us find familiar. The heavy burden of aging a life under the lens and the quiet struggle to preserve a face that once defined an era of greatness. Today, we explore those who opted for subtle tweaks, others who faced sudden shifts, and the real motives behind it all. Do stay with us until the finish. One specific journey will surely change how you view the cost of staying young. Linda Evangelista. The premier face of 1990s glamour defined an era of elegance for us all. Celebrated as the ultimate fashion chameleon, she transitioned through styles with grace, leaving a permanent mark on the runways and magazines we loved. To many of us, her image represents the pinnacle of high fashion. She remains a nostalgic link to a time when modeling felt truly magical and sophisticated. Her legacy is a reminder of that golden age we remember so fondly. Yet in recent years, Linda's journey took a painful and sobering turn that speaks directly to anyone exploring cosmetic help. After choosing cool sculpting, a procedure marketed as a safe, easy fix, she suffered a devastating side effect. Rather than slimming, she developed paradoxical adipose hyperplasia, PAH. This is a cruel, rare condition where the treated fat cells actually expand and harden into permanent visible lumps, leaving her permanently deformed, as she once described. This transformation was heartbreaking, forcing the star into isolation for years. She fought a quiet battle against the physical damage and the heavy emotional toll it took on her spirit. When she finally found the courage to tell her truth, her vulnerability touched millions, offering a warning in an age of quick-fix beauty. By revealing her scars, Linda ignited a vital conversation on the hidden dangers of non-invasive surgery. For those of us considering similar paths, her story is a powerful lesson. Even safe treatments have risks, and knowing the full truth is vital for our health and peace of mind today. Her bravery in coming forward reminds us that the face we show the world is only part of our story. The strength we find within is what truly endures. She has turned her pain into a purposeful message for every generation. Kenny Rogers was truly one of our nation's most cherished musical icons, with a grand career spanning over Sao Tupki. Known for his warm, gravelly voice and a reassuring presence, he touched the souls of many generations. Anthems like The Gambler and Islands in the Stream are deeply etched into our American heritage, especially for us who value his sincerity and the classic storytelling found in country music. To many, Kenny was a symbol of strength, comfort, and timeless grace. As time passed, Kenny faced those familiar burdens of fame, the harsh glare of spotlights, high-definition lenses, and a Hollywood culture that rarely embraces natural aging. By the 1990s, the drive to maintain a youthful mask became overwhelming. Seeking just a slight touch-up rather than a complete overhaul, Rogers decided on a facelift and eyelid surgery. He hoped to look refreshed, but the industry's beauty standards proved to be a difficult path. Sadly, the results were not what he envisioned. That rugged, handsome face, the one we all knew and loved, began to look strained and somewhat artificial. In a rare show of vulnerability, Rogers later admitted his regret, confessing that he no longer recognized the man in the mirror. This level of candor touched many of us, reflecting our own complex feelings about getting older in a world obsessed with looks. But despite the surgical changes, Kenny's true essence never faded. His legendary voice, his gift for a good story, and the raw honesty of his performances remained his true signature. For his fans, it wasn't about his appearance. It was about how his beautiful music moved our hearts. That spirit was, and always will be, his greatest gift to us. His legacy proves that while faces change, a soul filled with music is eternal. Lisa Rinna is now a staple of American television, but her path with cosmetic procedures started decades before she became a reality TV household name. In the mid-1980s, when Hollywood favored bold trends and fuller lips were the height of fashion, a young Rinna, barely in her 20s, opted for permanent silicone lip injections. At that time, the decision felt like a bold step toward empowerment, a way to enhance her look and find her footing in a notoriously competitive industry. To many of us who remember her early roles, she was the quintessential brunette beauty. For a long time, that choice seemed to define her success. Her full, pouty lips became her trademark, helping her stand out on hit soaps and red carpets alike. But as the years moved on, the hidden dangers of permanent fillers began to take their toll. The silicone gradually hardened, resulting in physical discomfort, a bumpy texture, and clear asymmetry. What had started as a beauty asset slowly transformed into a persistent struggle, both physically and emotionally, as she tried to maintain that famous image. After nearly 25 years of living with the consequences, Rinna chose corrective surgery in 2010 to remove the damaged tissue. While the procedure provided much-needed relief, it couldn't fully return her to her original natural self. In the years following, she continued using modern treatments like Botox and temporary fillers, and audiences often noted changes that sometimes made her expressions appear less fluid. In our age of social media, the public's gaze has only become more intense. Recently, however, Rinna has been refreshingly honest about her regrets, admitting some choices weren't right, and even documenting the reversal of certain procedures. Her candor has sparked meaningful conversations about the pressure to be perfect personal agency and the complex reality of growing older in the public eye. For those of us navigating our own aging journey, her story is a reminder that beauty is a personal, evolving, and sometimes difficult path. She continues to own her story with the same fearlessness that made us fans from the very beginning. Joan Van Ark was a beloved fixture on our screens during the 1970s and 1980s, gaining immense fame as the heart of Knots Landing Valine Ewing. With her soft features and bright, emotive eyes, she represented a classic American elegance that felt so familiar to those of us watching at home. To her longtime fans, she was the face of natural grace, an icon of the prime-time soaps that defined our weekly television rituals. She was a true neighborly beauty we all adored. As time marched on, the fame that built her career brought a difficult set of expectations. In an industry obsessed with youth, Van Ark felt the weight of maintaining her image while aging before millions of eyes. In the early 1990s, she reportedly began with a subtle rhinoplasty, a change so minor it went mostly unnoticed by the public. However, this was seemingly the start of a longer journey that included multiple facelifts, eye lifts, and intense skin resurfacing treatments that began to shift her look. These layered changes slowly transformed the features we had grown to love over decades. Her once expressive, warm smile began to look more restrained, and the vulnerability that made Valine so relatable seemed harder to perceive on screen. By the 2000s, as the harsh clarity of high-definition TV exposed every detail, the chatter about her face grew louder, often distracting from her incredible acting pedigree. It was a difficult transition for fans who missed her original glow. Yet despite the public focus on her appearance, Joan Van Ark's legacy in American television remains undeniable. We should remember her not for the procedures, but for the depth and emotion she brought to her craft for so many years. Her talent is what truly survives the test of time, proving that her spirit as an actress outweighs any physical change. She remains a vital and cherished part of our television history. Cayetana Fitz-James Stewart was long celebrated as one of the most vibrant and storied figures in European nobility. As the head of the ancient House of Alba, she carried centuries of Spanish heritage and held a world record collection of noble titles numbering over 40 in total. Her flamboyant personality, her deep passion for flamenco and the arts, and her rebellious spirit made her a true icon even in the most elite circles. She was admired for her rare ability to balance grand tradition with a fierce modern independence and an unforgettable charm. By the 1980s, however, as the years began to show, she reportedly became more determined to preserve her youthful appearance. What likely began as subtle cosmetic enhancements eventually led to numerous procedures, including several facelifts and various injectable fillers. Over time, these cumulative changes significantly altered the natural beauty of her younger years. Her journey was further complicated by Melkerson-Rosenthal syndrome, a rare neurological condition that causes chronic facial swelling. This blend of medical struggles and cosmetic choices made it difficult for the public to fully grasp the reality behind her changing reflection. Despite the endless tabloid scrutiny, the Duchess remained fiercely and unapologetically herself. In 2011, at the age of 85, she captivated the world by marrying for love, once again a bold move seen as a victory for personal happiness over rigid social norms. When she passed away in 2014, she left behind a legacy far deeper than her titles or her image. Her life remains a powerful symbol of individuality, resilience, and the courage to live entirely on one's own terms. LaToya Jackson was raised in the very heart of the most legendary family in music history, alongside her world-renowned brother, Michael. From a very young age, she lived in a virtual goldfish bowl, where endless comparisons to her famous siblings defined her sense of self and the public's expectations. Throughout the 1980s, she strove to forge her own path as a singer, actress, and model, fighting to step beyond that massive family shadow and find her own unique voice. For those of us who followed the Jacksons from the start, she was a striking presence all her own. However, the heavy weight of fame and the industry's obsession with beauty took their toll. By the late 1980s, reports of her first rhinoplasty surfaced, signaling a new chapter in her public evolution. In the following years, further procedures were believed to occur, each aimed at maintaining a flawless, polished image, while the world watched every move with an increasingly critical eye. As the years passed, her features became more sculpted and refined, leading many to remark on a tighter appearance that seemed to echo the dramatic transformations seen within her family. Public fascination only intensified as her physical likeness to Michael became more pronounced, often burying her individual professional achievements under a mountain of gossip. In recent years, however, LaToya has reclaimed her narrative, speaking candidly about her personal battle and the reality of her life, rather than the endless speculation about her face. Her journey mirrors the struggle of growing up in a spotlight that never dims, navigating a world that demands perfection at any cost. For many of us, her story is a powerful testament that inner resilience and true self-worth weigh much more than any physical change. She remains a survivor of an era of unprecedented scrutiny, proving that the strength of the Jackson spirit is what truly defines her today. Her grace in the face of such relentless attention is an inspiration to all who value authenticity. Goldie Hawn has graced our screens with warmth, laughter, and an unmistakable spirit for over half a century. Rising to stardom in the late 1960s, she quickly became America's sweetheart, adored for her bubbly personality, those iconic, expressive blue eyes, and a radiant, infectious smile. Her charm always felt wonderfully real, never forced, allowing us to connect with the genuine joy she brought to every single performance. For many of us, Goldie represents a golden era of Hollywood, where heart and humor went hand in hand. As the decades passed, however, even a soul as vibrant as Goldie faced the inevitable pressures of aging in an industry that has always worshipped youth. Like many of the icons we grew up with, she became the subject of persistent whispers regarding her evolving appearance. While she has never publicly confirmed specific surgeries, many observers and experts have noted the subtle use of modern treatments like Botox and facial fillers. In Hollywood, these are often seen as essential tools to maintain that refreshed look for the cameras that have followed her since her youth. Regardless of the gossip about her look, Goldie's true legacy has never been skin deep. In recent years, she has gracefully stepped back from the Hollywood grind, choosing instead to focus on her family and her transformative philanthropic work through her Mind Up program. Her dedication to children's mental health reflects a beautiful shift in priorities, moving from public image to a life of deep purpose and emotional well-being. Her journey is a testament to a life built on resilience, sincerity, and a heartfelt desire to help others. While our outward features may change with time, the qualities that truly define a woman like Goldie, her kindness, her wit, and her inner strength, remain as bright and significant as ever. She reminds us all that aging is not about holding on to the past, but about shining even brighter from within. To her fans, she will always be the same radiant Goldie we first fell in love with.